Okay, ladies and gentlemen, something keeps happening to my live streams. I'm trying to live stream this instead of pre-recording this. So I do apologize if I'm continuing to live stream this, but also I am going to talk about the Maven filters because I've been using Maven filters for about 3 years now, and I need to talk about clarity, contrast, color casting because a lot of people have issues by buying filters and they're afraid of color casting, de-sharpness or de-sharpness, uh, less contrast, too much yellow hue, some green hue in filters. Now, I've been using all types of filters for the last I don't know how duration of how long I've been shooting for all my life. I'm 47 years of age, and I had issues with filters where they have serious color casting, contrast issues, sharpness issues, softness issues at the corner, vignetting issues that were severely bad or good. Depends on the filter. But all filters had this one thing in common. There was always a color cast or de-sharpening, and sometimes they didn't have that. But in 2023, Maven Filters reached out to me and asked me if I want to try out their first wave of filters. So I agreed and I did. So I want to show you some of the images that I've taken with some of the Maven filter line. So I took this one with a CPL and a Show Glow Diffusion 1/4 strength. Not bad for my first time using a Show Glow, which is my first time using one of these kind of filters. So, but I also want to show you other images, me utilizing the CPL, the six stop, and Show Glow diffusion. So, with that said, I was able to capture, you know, a 1 second long exposure using these filters. But again, I am using that Show Glow diffusion 1/4 strength filter. I like how it gives you the pop of the colors of the light. Gives the light a little bit of more pop, especially if you're using neon lights. So take that with a grain of salt. It depends on what you're shooting. Now, when I went over the bridge over here in Long Island City, I've captured these images using the Maven filters. I was only using the Show Glow at this time. I wanted to see what the Show Glow can do, and it performed pretty darn good. Look, the detail is there. You can literally see the detail in the street. Look at that detail. No loss in detail, no loss in contrast, even though this is edit. And I'm going to show you a good example of why Maven filters don't have an issue with sharpness, clarity, details, contrast, color. There's barely no color, rarely no color shift. I'm going to show you that in a second, but I want to show you what I've taken so far with these images. I mean, with these Maven filters. But I've been using Maven filters since 2023 of spring, and it's now 2026 of spring. 3 years since I had the Maven filters. And by far, I use it for micro photography. You could go to my website. You could read my article, by the way, on the Maven filters if you want to read something about that. But like I said, as an affiliate now to Maven Filters is trusting me to do them some justice by telling them and telling you some feedback and a story about their filters. And now I'm able to do that all the time and tell you that these filters match up to what Maven filters claim. And as their claims are very strong claims, their claims are very real, if that makes sense. Because there are a lot of manufacturers out there saying that there's no color casting, but there's some type of color casting to these images. There's some sort, but some are severe, some are just minimal. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm just showing you images that I have taken with the Maven filters. And this is with the Show Glow Diffusion 1/4 strength. This is a pretty unique filter. But I also want to emphasize when I'm using combined filters. Like for instance, me taking this image of Long Island City from a distance on the bike path. So I'm using six stop, I'm using CPL, and I'm using the glow. Not bad, not bad at all, right? But there's other images of me using that glow filter. For instance, like this one. very nice light trails. The glow on those light trails are pretty popping. They pop. They really do pop because of that show glow diffusion filter. They do pop. So I just wanted to share with you some of these images that I've taken at night and during the day. I have taken long exposures during the day using the Maven filters. Like I said, thank you to Michael, Adam, and his team for sending me out these filters to give you guys some feedback, as I'm nobody. I'm not a pro photographer. You know, I consider myself as a pro photographer or a semi-professional photographer because I'm sharing with you in real time a tutorial that these filters have changed the game for me. I don't have to worry about altering my images anymore. I don't have to worry about putting on a filter and then I got to worry about, you know, especially for video, changing the color temperature because it has a weird color cast, you know, or fixing the casting on my, yeah, I don't have to worry about that. Like, look at this. This is just amazing light trails using that glow diffusion filter, which looks beautiful, by the way. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I've taken some very beautiful images. I've taken some very unique images with the water, utilizing that 6-stop and the CPLs, using 2 CPLs to give me 3 stops. Okay, and a combination with the 6-stop gives me 9 stops. So very smooth water effect. You know, I did add this video. Sorry, I said video. I did add this photograph, but I just also want to show you long exposures during the day. During the day, doing long exposures during the day with 9 stops and with the glow diffusion filter. And I want to show you clarity, detail, and editing your photos is very subjective. So take it with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen. But I want to show you something very interesting. When I was using 6-stop, and I'm going to show you an edit photograph. Let me show you an edit photograph so you can see in real time. This is edit. Sharp, detail, nice contrast, colors pop. But when we get into overexposed, because I took 3 of everything. I took an underexposed photograph, I took a neutral balance exposed photograph, and I took an overexposed photograph. You can see it's still sharp, regardless without the edit or not. This is an unedited version of this photograph. You can see the detail is there, the contrast, the colors just stay very neutral and very like it's supposed to, like you see in camera. That's a correct filter working for you. So I just wanted to share because some of you guys are skeptical about Maven filters because you know you got other brands out there trying to, you know, utilize their filters. But keep this in mind: Maven filters is the first filters of its kind that can utilize and can be used for all types of scenarios. For the disabled that are partially blind, and for us as photographers. It's the first filter line that came out with a feature for the disabled that partially can't see. But keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone else that I see on the market now doing color coordinated filters are just, in my opinion, in the last 2 years, are biting off of Maven filters. Like this image, I did edit, and I want to show you an unedited photograph. This is unedited. I want to show you the detail that's still left in the corners. This is why I want to talk about the filters. When I used to buy these so-called expensive filters, they would literally have vignetting in the corners, loss of sharpness. This corner here would have been soft. The edges on the corner here would have been soft and vignetted, and only the center would be pretty much 60% of the image would be sharp. The rest outside of this and the corners would be soft. But you can see here, detail, contrast, clarity, whites, blacks, highlights, shadows, all there, not lost using Maven filters. It's not lost. This is why this is by far one of the best filters I ever examined and played with for quite some time. And from this image, at the end of this, you can see what I did. How long could I did this? For 30 seconds, f13 ISO 125. You can see the light trails from the Iris 115, the Iris 15. Beautiful light trails using that show glow diffuser. Again, you can see how it emphasized that correct color scheme when the sun was setting that day. But it was also setting in a different color that day because it was a little bit warmer earlier in that day, and I got this shot, which it looks phenomenal with, you know, the Optimum building with the lights just popping really good. And you can see from the histogram, decent, very nice. This image here was actually taken for 11 minutes. This is an 11-minute exposure. 11-minute exposure. It's not a perfect image because there's some issues with this image. This is called the sensor. So, with that said, everyone, 11 minutes, got that nice purple blue because there was some blue and some purple, some orange, some red blending into that skyline because you guys know New York City is very iconic for having its very summer and spring, summer and sunrises. This is one of them. This is me at Williamsburg Bridge, emphasizing the Williamsburg Bridge as an architecture photographer. Maybe give this to the DOT if they want to buy a print. But you can see no loss in detail whatsoever. No loss in detail. This image is pretty much sharp all the way through. Again, emphasizing sunsets once again. The starbursts. If I didn't have the filters for my Iris 15, I would have never got this shot. I guarantee it. But you can see there's detail. Look, you can look right in the shadows. You can still see there's so much detail. There's so much detail in it. Look, just look at the tunnel. Let me zoom in to 200. Look at that. There's still information there. You can clearly see. So with that said, everyone, I think using Maven filters have changed my 3 years of photography to a whole new level. Like I said, thank you, Michael, for giving this nobody a chance to emphasize your filters on YouTube. Because YouTube has been, demonetizing my content. So, and another, it was a cloudy, gray day that day, but take it with a grain of salt. Editing your photographs is subjective. And I subjectively was going to add this photo because I like how it looks when you walk down the street. You see leading lines, and mind you, look at the detail on this. Look at the detail. That's amazing detail. If you ask me, that's amazing detail. All the way through, ladies and gentlemen. Look, all the way through. Detail, detail. You can even see the building in the background. There's detail. And this is why I love using the Maven filters. So, ladies and gentlemen, as someone that uses Maven filters for the last 2 years, it's by far my go-to in my arsenal. Now I have a 95 thread, and Maven filters is still sending me a care package very soon. So I'm going to be getting more filters so I can show you more what Maven filters can do. As someone that's now back in New York after 4.5 years, mind you, I'm native from New York. I left here in early 2000s. I went to elsewhere. I went to Wisconsin, went to elsewhere. I went to working with Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, San Francisco. You know, I just needed to travel, take some photographs, get an idea how to be a better photographer. And Maven filters, if you were, let's say Maven filters existed 10 years ago, I think my photography would have been outstandingly incredible. And if you go to my Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, this is where I post the most. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see for yourself that I travel a lot to emphasize these images. And the image that I edited today, where is it? Come on. No. Where is it? Where is it? Okay. So today, if you didn't see this tutorial where I edit this photograph, wait, this is not it, is it? No, it's this one. If you watch the tutorial today where how I edit this photograph, it's an hour long. I'm just trying to give people direction how to edit the photographs the way they see it. It's subjective, but you see me get rid of a lot of imperfections in this photographs. Taking your time with your photographs and editing your photographs and taking your time with it brings out the best results, in my opinion. So, if you guys like the content, just subscribe, like, and share. You guys want support, there is PayPal, Venmo. But if you want support and help Maven filters and you're a photographer and you're looking for filters, this is it. This is your chance to grab some of the best filters on the market. And by far, this is by far the best filters. So with that said, everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time out. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. If I miss anything about Maven filters or the CPLs or the 6-stops or the glow filters, that's what I have for my 95s and for my 77s. I do have a 10-stop for my 77. I already used that, unless it's high noon and bright. But other than that, it's been great. Now, support your boy. Support the channel. Support Maven filters. And I'm out of here. Thank you for watching, everyone. Talk to you guys in the next one.